Let go, let them fail, let them do their own mistakes. Even if you sometimes know, oh, I don't think this is a good idea, let them do it. Let them learn for themselves, because only then you eventually will also get their buy-in. Because if you just tell them, no, this is what I think, they will never trust you, they will never go with you and walk this path together. And employers should know that the speed they reply and the speed they react to the applications matters. Imagine you are surfing. The coach usually pushes the board so that you have that momentum and you can come up there. Once you are up there and surfing, I cannot micromanage you anymore or hold you and control you, because you will fall. Once you're up there and you are cruising, I will let you go, because otherwise you will not succeed in surfing your wave and enjoying the beautiful wave. Go and work as a service crew yourself. Understand how hard it is. Understand what people are you working with. Who are these people? Because then you can start speaking the language. How can I create the most impact in the world or for people out there? My tagline is become 1% better every day, because if you become 1% better every day, which looks like a small change only, you will see you will have a big change over the whole year.
And Vanessa, if you can tell us a bit what you do, quick introduction so that people will understand who you are in a few words. Maybe what do you do?
Sure. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of FastCo, one of the largest recruitment solutions out there in the blue-collar, non-executive space in Singapore and Malaysia, so Southeast Asia. And I'm running everything when it comes to revenue and that brings money for the business. So really taking care of the sales teams, the client success account management teams, and also the partnerships and marketing teams. And we at FastCo actually have about 2 different products that we have been working on in the past over 10 years, actually. So we have Fast Jobs, which is the largest recruitment platform when it comes to non-executive space in Malaysia and Singapore, with over 6 million job seekers that we have acquired over the past years, really helping and matching employers from the industries like retail and F&B, warehouse logistics, with job seekers in that space and giving them both the opportunities to work together. On the other side, we have FastGig, which is a SaaS platform on demand, you can see it. So it's basically really hiring people on the spot whenever you need them, especially in the non-executive space, when you need people on the ground, when somebody is sick, when somebody doesn't show up. This is where people, an employer can go to hire people on demand. Yeah, so this is basically what we do and what I do.
Good. And what led you to where you are today? And I think you are in Dubai, you work in Asia. I see an accent, I would say German or something like that.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Absolutely correct. I'm German, so I lived 7 years in Singapore after my studies, where I was running startups along the way, always in the commercial space. Early stage startups until more established startups, and German from origin, but have really fell in love with Asia and the people, the foods, and especially also the weather. I know a lot of people don't really like the heat in Singapore or in Malaysia. I love it. I really can't get enough of it, because that's why I left cold winter gray Germany in the first place. So really fell in love with Asia. Now I'm currently in Dubai, working a bit more remotely for the company, but in Singapore usually once, twice per month. So still there to support the team.
And what led you to HR? Why this? I don't know if you consider yourself HR, but I would. And what led you to this place?
I think in the first place it was, my background has always been in different industries, but always startups along the way. So I was in advertising tech, then I was in fintech, and now in HR tech or recruitment tech. And how did I actually end up there was through connections to Julian. So I got introduced to Julian, and we had just a discussion on where the company wants to be, what are the current challenges. And we basically really connected very well. And somehow this then happened and we found each other. And now I've been working for the company for over 2 years, 2.5 years almost. And this is how I got into HR, mainly through connections and through really believing in what they do and what FastCo's vision is and what Julian believes in and has been working on in the past over 10 years, which was very inspiring to me to really get more into the non-executive space, which is because we're all working in white collar, basically, but to learn more about such an underserved segment and how they struggle as well and how we can help them in their lives to have a better life, to get the next salary for their families. And it really inspired me, and I really connected with this vision.
Interesting. And I saw you have kind of two parallel careers. One, you have your coaching, and then you have also the chief commercial officer, or I don't know, chief revenue officer. So you have kind of the high impact, high number driven hat, and at the same time, the more human personal development. I was imagining you would tell me something about the coaching when I asked about HR. You didn't. So can you tell us about those two lives you have?
So how actually I became a coach was in my previous job, where I just wanted to become a better leader, because I was leading 200 people back then, a big team, different kind of nationalities as well, from the Philippines, from Malaysia, from Singapore, from China, so really India, all across the board, Russia, Germany, Spanish, like really
Everywhere.
multicultural. And I wanted to be a better leader for my team and help them really become better versions of themselves. Like my tagline is become 1% better every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you come 1% better every day, which looks like a small change only, however, it accumulates over the whole year. And you will see you will have a big change over the whole year. So don't think you need to go like super high. I need to achieve like the biggest milestones right away. Start with the small steps, step by step. And I wanted to help my team implement these things and really help them with their challenges so they can become better versions of themselves. And that's when I started becoming a coach. I did a certification to evolve as a leader, and on now more as a passion project on the side, on the weekends or out of office, I help other executives with their challenges in their startups, or founders or people that are stuck in their careers and are looking for the next step in their next job. So this is where I came in to help them maybe trigger a couple of thought-provoking things and to ask the right questions so they find the answers that they were looking for, and also the action plan moving forward on where to go next and what they have to do. And me being basically the accountability partner for them. And I still do that for my team, of course, every single day in my job as a CRO as well.
Super. And I think, I don't know whether it's going to come from your commercial life or from your coaching life, but if you had to summarize your life to one question, what would it be?
I think across my whole life, I was always, and it's also what I stand for in me as a leader or as a coach or as a friend or as a wife or a daughter of my parents, is how can I create the most impact in the world or for people out there? So this is a question how I would summarize up my life, which has been driving me throughout. And I think how to answer that would be usually in multiple areas in life. Like how can I create impact for the people I interact with or for in the world, is I can do my best to drive things forward. So basically having a win-win as for my clients. I want to create positive impact for my clients. I want to help them really solve their problems and challenges so they can achieve their goals better and create impact in the world through what their vision is. Same with my team members or my team. I want to help create positive impact for them in their careers so they are motivated and driven to go for the vision of the company, to align their initiatives and everything forward so we then again can help our clients. So it's always this little, it's like a domino, like you tap one and then it goes and you tap into other areas as well. As a wife, for my husband, for my family, for my parents, really creating positive impact wherever I go and with my coaching clients as well. And yeah, just being myself really and wanting to help and create change out there.
We are very aligned. I think we are trying to respond to the same question. And you also gave me answers of how you're doing it, so I'll skip the next one.
Can I ask you that question back?
I think I have the same impact piece, but I usually talk about it as peak performance. It's like basically how do you get to level 10, which is not sustainable. So lately I'm like thinking sustainable performance, but how do you unlock more creativity, more joy, how do you unlock more? Which is similar to your impact thing, but I've never called it impact until I joined Brio, because we also have impact and care in the company. So yeah, I think we're very aligned. That's why I'm telling you, yeah, amen.
Yes.
Yeah, so I maybe follow up. I think you gave answers of how you're doing it. Maybe what are the parts where you still have doubts? I can answer that one if you want this way. I'll explain a bit what I mean by the question. I still don't know how to achieve it. My main doubt or main area of trouble is I know how to engineer long experiences that drive you to that high creativity, high joy, etc. Meditation retreats, creative retreats, those kind of moments or offsites, when you do long offsites, or at big conferences that are well managed, you can get to those moments of beauty, of joy, of full potential. And then you get back to your patterns because you need to go back to work. That's always that crazy increase, a bit like, how do you call it? Holotropic experiences, those kind of things. And then you go back to life and you fall back. And so I always had those experiences of insane, not out of body experience, but out of life experience, out of daily life. You go there and then you drop back. So you might have done 10x and you drop back to 1.1x. And so the question is, how do you get to that 10x and how do you maintain it? And it's very hard. So I still don't know how to do it. I tried to live it in my own life because for a while I was trying to help others without me able to get there. So I'm trying to do the 1% thing that you were talking about in my own life, and then we'll see for others.
More sustainable, step by step, instead of the up and down.
Yeah.
I think for me, thank you for sharing that. I can resonate a lot with that because I think I've been there as well when super high-end top achiever, always in school, in uni, in career, like giving it your all, but then always like having these almost like kind of burning out as well. That's why I went into my journey of, I think, mindfulness, more positive psychology, personal development. So I'm a big yoga fan. So I'm a teacher and also a big practitioner myself, practice meditation and meditation teacher. So really like implementing these little things across in your life that will help you to balance. I don't think they will just eliminate these ups and downs and challenges because life is like that. Life is like that. It's a fact. We just need to learn how to cope with it and how to get up faster again, and not then, right, if we grow, we drop and then we start from here again, but maybe that then the gap is not so big and you go up faster and then you can continue like your stock market basically. It's like going up eventually, but it's not. So instead of fall and then stay and then go up again and waste time, this is maybe what I have been trying a lot throughout my last, I would say, 5 to 8, 10 years to implement this more mindfully, because I think when you have this balance, you are more creative, you have more energy, you have more drive to really go for it rather than completely burning out and then hitting that rock bottom. You asked me the question, where do I still have doubts about my one question for me? I think for me, it's more the long term is how will I in the future impact the lives positively of others? Will I do my own business eventually? What kind of organizations do I join? I think this is for me still that doubt where like, okay, how big will it be? Will it be small, but having the happy kind of impact that makes me still happy because I see it with my clients and all that? Or will it be really big scale? I don't know that yet. So I have question marks just on how this will be in my life. So I don't have the, let's say when I'm 60 or 70, I will have achieved that. I don't know that yet. I have my vision, my own kind of plan that I want to live. I know what I want to achieve, but not yet how. So I think that will evolve over time, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least it's not going to be boring. Otherwise, if you knew already that's where I'm going to be, at the same time, I want to know, but at the same time, I don't want to know. Another question that probably will get you to think, it's what's one belief that you had about leadership that has changed since the beginning of your career? Anything that felt like the truth and no longer feels like the truth today?
I think it was maybe something when I became a leader, what I thought is leadership would be like, you need to do it. You need to do it all. You're like responsible for it all. Yes, we are. But I think it maybe was a misperception that I had. But I realized over time that it's not about me doing the work or changing things or pushing things forward, but elevating my team to take ownership, accountability, and have the freedom to push initiatives forward that they believe in as well. So it's not just me, this is the way we do it, because this is what I thought when I started as a leader. This is how leadership is. Like, you tell everybody what to do. You go in, you check things, you're like a bit micromanaging because you need to control it all, right? That control aspect. However, I learned over time of leading big teams as well that sometimes it's about letting go. Just, I can't control it all. I don't want to control them all. I want them to have the freedom. They should be accountable themselves. They should own this. And I'm here to support them and elevate them to achieve that and help them in their challenges and what kind of resources they need. But I don't want to just tell them this is what you need to do. So I thought you need to control it all yourself as a leader. But in the end, I really learned over time, let go, let them fail, let them do their own mistakes. Let them, even if you sometimes know, oh, I don't think this is a good idea, let them do it. Let them do it. Let them learn for themselves, because only then you eventually will also get their buy-in. Because if you just tell them, no, this is what I think, they will never trust you. They will never go with you and walk this path together, because they also need to feel that they can create impact, that they can move things. So yeah.
Do you think that it's thanks to the fact you had 200 people working with you that you could discover this? Because if you have a small team, you can always cognitively and emotionally be micromanaging. Once the team becomes so big, there's no way you can do it. So you have to let go because there's no other choice. Do you think that's the reason why you learned, or did you learn it in another way?
I think I learned it also from my previous boss, who was really like a big mentor to me along the way. I saw that how he managed me. I saw how he let me do things, how he gave me that ownership. And where he asked, right, okay, what would you do now? What would be your idea here? This is the challenge. What would you do? Instead of him telling me the answer, he would consult me and ask the right questions. So I think I learned that aspect from him because I saw, wow, this is how he manages me. And then, of course, I saw my own patterns in the beginning as a newborn leader. Like, you go in, you check, because you come you're an individual contributor first, right? You know how things are done, and then you think this is the way how it's supposed to be because this is how I did it and I know it worked. But not everybody thinks that way, or salespeople in general have sometimes their own way of doing things. And sometimes you just need to give them the space to do what they want to do. And I think through his guidance and mentorship, and then also seeing my own patterns through self-awareness and self-reflection, I would say I learned it that way.
Cool. Thank you for the reminder. I'm still way too much on the micromanagement side. I appreciate the reminder. It felt like it was for me.
Great.
Anyway, so within the domain of leadership, what topics and actions are you most passionate about? And it's all about the influence you have, right? You have a platform on social media, you have an organization that amplifies your leadership through all the clients that you have and their own organizations. Are you intentional in pushing some key things like what you just said about not micromanaging, giving freedom, giving ownership? And what are those topics?
Yes, I think I try not to micromanage any at all. However, I always tell my team, if there are no results and if performance is not there, I will be there to come in and to have a look. And yes, it will be painful and you probably will not like it, but we got to a level where it's not acceptable to do what we are doing when we need to change. So what I like to give usually as a metaphor is, imagine you are surfing and you are on the board and you're paddling and you want to get up right on that wave. And you try and you can't get up there because you're underperforming, you're not getting to the goal we want to get. You can just go and go, but you will not get up there. So if I'm like your coach behind you, right? If you have surfed before, the coach usually pushes the board so that you have that momentum and you can come up there. I will be there to push you. I will be there to guide you on what to do in terms of techniques and all that. However, once you are up there and surfing, I cannot hold you because I cannot micromanage you anymore or hold you and control you because you will fall. You will not be able to surf. Once you're up there and you are cruising, I will let you go because otherwise it would be counterproductive and you will not succeed in surfing your wave and enjoying the beautiful wave. So I always say, I will be there if things are not working, if we didn't achieve our things. Then I will come in and look at it, micromanage and check with you regularly what needs to be done. But once things are falling into place again, I will let go and I will let you surf on your wave. Yeah, so what was the question coming to that?
Yeah. So the question was, as an influencer, what are you trying to help the world get? So you're talking about micromanagement versus flow and letting go, which are topics I love. And I think, I'll never get to the point where I can completely removed, especially in a startup that is Series A. Still loads of things to build ourselves, totally aiming for it. So are there other things? You spoke about ownership, you spoke about freedom, so the opposite of micromanagement. Are there other topics that you feel strongly about?
Yes, I feel very strongly about, especially when the team is growing. And that's what I also realized when I was managing 200 people, even now in FastCo, where we are about 70 to 80 people overall. The more the company grows, the more projects we're running or so goals we have and things we do, the organization tends to generally, I think, work more in silos. because we're all so busy with our own goals and we're hustling and we need to achieve this and Series A, right? Chaos, everything's broken, then something else happens and you need to do this and you need to grow because investors are already, it's like, what is this? So I see that over time, every team does their own things and they are moving into their own directions, but sometimes there is this lack of alignment. So I think principles that I feel strongly about, and I think especially in startups are still missing, is that company alignment. Yes, we have company goals, but how do we align everybody towards these goals? And how do we make sure that even though they work on their own goals there, these are aligned with what others need as well? How can we create goals or teams that check in with each other, that are accountable to each other, that work on problems together instead of, I'm just working on my part? Especially product, sales, it's always this, or marketing, sales, or tech and customer support, like platform is down, like all these things, right? How can we, as a team, as a whole organization, work towards these big goals together and align each team towards it, make them accountable, let them own it, but not to forget communication, transparency. I think challenging each other is very important too, not just saying yes and amen to everything. But hey, you're working on this now, but why? Because I feel I have a much bigger problem. Or can we rediscuss priorities here, even across teams? Because sometimes product does their own thing, marketing does their own thing. So how to get it all together? I think that is still a big challenge. And in terms of leadership principles, something I think I would need to focus on more as well with my management, with my C-level, because we owe it to the company and the people to give the direction and align them together. So that's what I would probably say here.
So ownership and freedom, but still aligned towards one big picture. Cool.
What about you?
What do I want to influence? I want to influence the balance between performance and care. So impact and care. And the fact that care drives impact, but on the long term, not in the short term. So basically the paradox between short term and long term. That's the big one that I'm trying to do in my own life and in others. Because if you look at Malaysia, Southeast Asia, actually globally, I think leaders have trouble to invest in anything that is long-term because we have to do, in marketing is clear, right? You have performance marketing, it's easy to invest. Brand marketing is very hard to invest. So you tend to harvest existing demand instead of creating it. Same thing for employee well-being. We all think, is it impact or well-being? So you usually invest in impact. In software, it means investing in performance management instead of talent engagement. But down the line, the most important thing is your culture. And if you don't invest in it, it's not good. So it's always that thing. So I guess making sure that people understand those things are not opposed. There are synergies. Those synergies happen in the long term. And if you don't think about them early, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. You just won't know now. You will know in 2 years. So I've had the chance to live it in my life in the context of marketing, which is a very data-driven function.
Yeah.
So I know what it feels to fail making the wrong investments. I see it also in teams on the long run. So I'm trying to advocate for that as part of my role at brio. Actually, Nabil told me, he's the co-founder. I say brio as the Americans would do. He's like, say it as French people do.
I would say brio as well. So it's brio?
That's what Nabil said when he heard me. This is brio. I was like, okay, fine. I'll say brio like a French. I'm no longer feeling too French, I guess. Yeah, so that's the main one, I think, in long term, short term. And I think that goes with it. It's more the meta thinking is how do you accept paradox and not try to solve it. So I think I'm learning this in my own life. You want white or black answers. Everything is gray. And as you grow, and I imagine as I grew, I understood that trying to solve paradox creates problems. And what you need to do is just balance. And like sometimes it's micromanagement, sometimes it's total flow. And you need to go from one to the other instead of trying to, we need to find the right balance and we're going to fix on one balance. No. It always needs to be a game of breathing. It's like you can't inhale or exhale. You need to do both.
Yes.
So I guess those are the two main things: impact and care, long-term, short-term, and the thinking of paradox in holding multiple truths at once, which are really hard things to do. Because when you are younger, you want clarity, certainty, and that stresses you out. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much because we don't have so much time and I want to get I guess the audience can hear me often, so they will start getting what I think. We won't have that much opportunity with you, so let's go. And I think we spoke about it, but I think that's the big thing in HR and you do it for your clients. You spoke about helping your clients, and helping their employees, their talents. So how do you balance the two stakeholders, right? You have their interests are almost opposed. If you are cynical, if you are loving of human beings, you're like, no, it can be both. So how do you do it to balance in the day-to-day in each of the projects you run?
This is a very good question because we as a platform, right, we have both sides. It's you have the employers and also the job seekers or giggers that we have. And of course, as a platform, we hear both sides. We hear the concerns about employers, that people may not show up or they don't hear back from the job seekers. But we have exactly the same feedback from the other side, where job seekers say, hey, I've applied to so many employers, but they haven't gotten back to me. And I think our responsibility here is to bridge that gap and to share, okay, valid point, but okay, what do job, from an employer perspective, right there, let's say they have concerns. Bridging the gap and explaining and educating the employers as well, okay, but have you understood the job seeker? Do you know what their challenges are? What are their needs? Why are they looking for jobs right now? Or how do they tick? What's attractive to them? Because once you understand that, you can also change that in your hiring approach. You can focus more on what will work, maybe more, and implement that feedback. So we are trying to be the bridge by educating both sides. Same with the job seekers. We would say, okay, what matters is that you have experience, let's say FastGig, for instance. You have some experience in the F&B space, service crew, so you have done a couple of shifts with us. This is what really stands out. Have good ratings, be there on time, don't cancel last minute, don't not show up, so you have good rating profile. What will employers look at when they choose you? To educate them on this, so they have better chances to get the jobs they want as well. And how do we balance that? Very good question. Well, we have, of course, regular feedback loops with employers when we meet them, quarterly business reviews, we have surveys, and we do the same with job seekers. When they have questions, queries, and email us, we will try to get back and help answer the questions they have, give tips where we can, and also from the employer side to really just understanding the both problems they face and why is that challenge the other problem, and how can we, what information is missing or lacking that we know that could help with this problem. But of course, you always have two different stakeholders you need to please and make happy, because you're dependent on the employers because they drive the money for you, but you're also dependent on the job seekers because they are your product. You are helping them find a job. Yeah. And without them, you cannot please the employers. So platform, always that we're in the middle. What can we do? But this is our responsibility to manage that and support both sides as much as we can.
Yeah, I love the lack of information as being the problem. Because at the end of the day, if you had full context on both sides, you would trust everyone because you would understand how they think. You would understand they are not being mean to you or anything. It's just, sorry, they have too much demand. They can't cope. So they don't respond to you. Right. On the other side, the people have their own challenges in their lives. So if they are gig workers, they have instability in their lives. Otherwise, they would not. So it's basically about empathy, and information is necessary for that. So you're basically rebuilding trust with your platform.
Also, I think our responsibility is to take this feedback and to answer as well. Because I know that a lot of platforms sometimes don't even answer to queries of giggers, job seekers, or employers. They're just okay, whatever. We're a platform, right? We are not responsible for anything here because we're just the middleman. Yeah, you guys do you, but I can't control the employer. I can't control the job seeker. I'm just here to let you post and you find each other. But no, we are responsible for it. We are here to reply fast to our queries as well and to solve these problems and to provide the information that is missing so everybody can benefit and have that win-win.
It's very interesting that you've been saying responsibility a few times. Some people use other words. It's very interesting. And I was actually thinking, it brought me back to the activism behind FastCo and FastGig. Can you tell us a little bit of where that responsibility comes from? And I think to me, and I see it as a sign of integrity and a sign that I can trust you because you feel responsible. So you own the problem. Where does it come from in your own life and at FastCo and FastGig in terms of activism? Why do you guys care so much about this problem?
I think Julian, our founder, really, our vision is really to provide equal job opportunities for job seekers out there. And I think there is a lot of misperception about the non-executive space as well. And I really, through working in it in the past years, it really changed my perception too, because these people on the ground in the non-executive space, they are the frontliners of our lives. And they are actually the key that we can live our life in consumption. We can go dine and go out, enjoy our lives. And they are supporting us in this. And it's a super hard job. Like, I really look up to these people because it's not easy to work in a warehouse and pick things and pack things and move things, and or even in the service line, F&B, like until late nights and super busy all the time. Same in retail. You just constantly, it's a heavy job. And I look up to these people because they help us live our lives. If we want to order something, let's say on my Fast Jobs booklet here, people on the ground in a non-executive space will make sure I will get that. I ordered in the platform. Within a few minutes, it's in front of my door. Especially in Dubai, it's phenomenal what kind of delivery service you have. All the platforms are like competing with each other, 12 minutes, 11 minutes, and you will have whatever you need. Crazy. Because people in the non-executive space, blue-collar space, they make it happen. And they have to do a lot of jobs. They're rushing. I think coming back to Julian's vision to helping creating equal job opportunities so they can have a better life too, and they can feed their families, and being really grateful for all what they are doing in our daily lives. And I think that's why I feel responsible to help them.
Do your part.
Yes, and do my part, because they don't always have the easiest lives, and especially giggers. They're often caregivers. They can't have a full-time job. They're taking care of their own parents or of their children, mothers, or they have other things where they can't commit to a full-time job, but they still need to pay bills. And here it's very important that we provide these opportunities for them so they can actually have a job whenever they want, whenever it works for them, because they can't do a full-time job and they can't commit to a part-time job every single day, 3 times per week I show up. But gig work really helps them to accommodate what timelines they have and what availability they have.
I think when you started talking about the platform, there was one question that I didn't ask you, and I think it's a good time now to do. You are called FastCo, FastGigs, like the fast is in the name.
Yes.
I was thinking, how much lead time do you have between the time a job post is made and the time that I need to fill the job on the platform? Is it from one day to the next? Is it within a few hours? Like, how fast is it to connect employers and employees?
It's very fast. I tell you why. So we would usually say that 83% of all employers will become the first job application within 24 hours. But it's literally like only 1 to 2 hours. Because if you understand the job seekers in the non-executive space, they are urgently looking for a job because something happened or they need a job. They need to really feed their families. So for them, speed is the most important. And I think there's the biggest misconception for employers, because sometimes they take too long to reply to a job seeker, especially in the job and non-executive space. They might have too much volume of job seekers, because the job seeker goes on the app, is on the go. It's the mobile, which makes it so fast, especially in that segment, because they're commuting, they're going to their next job, and they will look for jobs.
I'll try. While you talk, I will download the app because I didn't, and I want to see if I can try.
But usually it's the mobile first advantage that we have, because especially in the non-executive space, they all have mobiles. They don't have laptops so much. And they would do that when they are actually on the go. And they just apply. So their tendency is to apply to many roles. So they apply, because service crew is service crew. It doesn't matter what, it's a specific skill set you do. So they just apply and apply and apply. And for the employers, they would then be sometimes flooded with a lot of volume of applications. And they would take their time and will miss out, however, on these job seekers because they will have already a job. Another employer was faster. So what I really can always give advice for employers is be fast. So we have in our platform, when you go to our ads as well, we measure the employer's responsiveness. We measure how fast are employers actually replying to our job seekers. And there is a batch. For each employer, they have a batch. Replies usually within 1 day, or replies some like 7 days. So job seekers also see that when they apply, because they want the job fast. And that's why fast is also in our name. And that's why we have really, I think, pioneered that whole non-executive space due to speed, fast, mobile first, because we understood how our job seekers think. And now it's about the employers to see that they are maybe not replying as fast and that they might lose out on a lot of talent or people, legs on the ground, because they're too slow.
And that makes sense for them as well, because when you're doing your shift planning and then someone is sick in the morning, they have an interest to be fast as well. So basically this liquid market that you're trying to create as interest for everyone is very useful. Cool. Okay, maybe one question that is more on the future of work, and then we can go back to FastCo and FastGig. What's the most exciting HR innovation you've seen recently? Can be in Asia, can be in Dubai, can be wherever you've been so far. Maybe the most innovative thing that you've stumbled upon.
There's so much happening everywhere, right? With AI, it's taking over the whole world. I think a lot is happening on the recruitment side when it comes to matching, when it comes to interviewing. The whole process that a recruiter is currently doing is heavy AI involvement everywhere right now to help save time for recruiters so they have more time for choosing the right people and maybe making offers faster. Because as I just said, especially in the blue-collar space, they get sometimes flooded with hundreds of applications. And if you manually have to go through all of this, it takes a lot of time. And yes, sometimes that is also why they take time to reply them, because it's just so much. But you may have missed already the other 80% of the job seekers. So I think a lot what is happening right now is even for recruitment agencies, a lot more AI solutions that help with that frontline work, which is I call the candidate, I screen the candidate. Like this is an AI person calling, for instance. I see that a lot now more instead of them calling or qualifying through questions on WhatsApp or anything like this. So this is upcoming a lot and supporting the recruiters to save time and to be able to focus on maybe more important things. What I saw, however, in the UK was I was a bit blown away. There was a solution. It's called, you can check it out, Jack and Jill, it's called. They built an AI recruiter and an AI for candidate side, kind of a headhunter that helps, and like an actual recruiter for companies. So it's on the white collar space right now, but I found it impressive how it worked. So I was testing it out, and on the candidate side, it's Jack. Jack is like having an interview with you, and it's so good, like the questions, and it's like a human speaking to you. You're like, what? I'm speaking to AI here, and he asks me all these crazy questions, and you have a proper conversation. And then he really tailors based on what you want and what you're looking for. On a daily basis, he sends you things. You can do like you can do mock-up interviews with him. He shares with you the newest things. And on the other side, you have Jill, who is there for the AI kind of recruiter for companies finding talents. So they work hand in hand, Jack and Jill, of course. And I found it impressive how technology is evolving to take on so much work and to help really employers and candidates to meet each other and to find jobs and to fill the gap.
Thank you for sharing.
But a lot right now is, of course, AI recruiter stuff, the front of the funnel, candidate screening, interviewing. There's a lot happening here. What about you? What would you say is currently hot and cooking?
I'm always in that quest of peak performance again. There are a few things that are happening on I think Jack, it was Jack. Yeah.
Jack and Jill, yes.
Yeah, Jack. Which one is the Jack? Is the one for candidates?
Jack is the candidate one and Jill is the employer one.
Okay, so on the Jack side, how do you understand how people think? For instance, what we talked about earlier of, are you micromanaging? Do you see life in black and white, my way or the highway? Or are you able to take distance, let go? To me, those are different stages in a career. There are maturity levels, whatever you want to call it. So I've been fascinated by people working with AI in order to assess where we are on that scale of life. Are we trying to belong? Are we trying to self-other? Are we trying to let go? And then there's Buddha and Christ and the top, basically. So that's the most exciting thing for me, because I think that's the next level of personality, basically understanding yourself. I think there was a lot of stuff on the personality side, which is, what's your pattern? I think the pattern is very interesting when you look at your limited self, meaning that you are in a crisis. So you have narrow tunnel vision I was talking about earlier, because you stopped being in flow and you go into fixity, and that fixity limits you to a few patterns. So that those things are interesting to see, your limited patterns. But ideally, we don't do any pattern. We are just going with the moments, like I'm trying to do with you today. And we don't limit the conversation or experience of life to any specific pattern. So from that point of view, it's more about how much capacity you have to love or feel others, how much capacity you have to think about any kind of pattern. And that model I was telling you about, there's Kegan, there are others. And interestingly, I found out about 3 companies in Malaysia who are pioneering those things. One is like more like an AI that mirrors you. Another one is a marketplace. I didn't sign an NDA, but they asked me not to share. So it's a marketplace to do talent screening across Malaysia and then help you find the right, basically do matching. And then
Yes.
the third one, which is more to do with your, Gene Keys, the Gene Keys, the Tai Te Ching, the Chinese book of 64 characters. I don't know how to speak about it, to be honest. But basically, they try to give you your pattern. And then these guys are trying to understand patterns and how you can help people. But basically 3 projects that are touching this kind of topic. And to me, that's the most fascinating thing, because I think once you understand whether you are trying to belong, which is the socialized mind, whether you are self-authoring, which is the micromanager you were talking about, the early manager, or you are in the letting go stage, and then you are the monk, completely removed, and you just see things. It's
Things are
funny.
moving on its own.
Yeah, you're like, oh, like the universe is so beautiful. That's the next level. I think once you understand this path and you can see yourself wherever you are, you can easier fight those negative patterns that are limiting you. So very excited about this. Other than that, AI, custom GPTs. I think the most interesting thing for me is you no longer have to consume, you can create.
Yeah.
And people are still stuck in consumption. And they still think that creation is so far away, when it's just opening a laptop, creating a custom GPT, boom, you've created AI. And I wish more people could know, because it's just a limited belief. So hopefully that changes soon. We are doing a lot of stuff here in Malaysia and in Singapore, trying to educate and say, look, it's actually super easy. Please just open your laptop. We're going to break this myth that you're not a developer. You are a developer today. I think those 2 things are the exciting ones here.
I would love to have another session on you on that, like breaking my limiting belief as well.
On AI?
I'm like creating agents and all that. It's something I really want to do, but haven't gotten to it. When I'm really just gotta do it, and
when you can't teach, just do a workshop for others. Do
yes,
yourself. I had to do that. And also, I think being surrounded by people who build. And with your team at FastCo, here we have brilliant developers. Our COO, Chief Operations Officer, Sylvain, also does a lot of things with AI. So I cannot not do it. I have FOMO when I see them create and I'm not creating. Yeah, cool. I think we talked about innovation. In Asia, have you seen like organizations as clients or partners or others that are basically adopting new ways of working in the region? It can be like, I give you some sense of things that I'm excited about. Decentralization. I think what you're doing with blue collar workers or giggers, I think is very exciting. I think AI, so having the CHRO managing the AI and the people, those kind of things. Have you seen organizations that are pushing the boundaries? And it can be also in the Middle East where you are at the moment. So do you think we should follow and learn from at the moment?
Tough question, because every single month there's some new things popping up, like with OpenClaw, right? Like in February there just came out, and now it's sold already. Like it's so fast. It's just so fast everywhere. And as you said, everybody can do it. Like now you can, if you jump on the horse, you can create, you can really make your team more efficient, automate many more things, and make life easier for everybody. So it's really, I think, it's the big guys, but also then smaller guys, like the OpenClaw guy, he just came up with it. Claude is changing it. Like first it was ChatGPT, now it's Claude. It's like moving so fast everywhere. So I, of course, like following these big giants, because they're just so much faster in their development and trying it out, as you said. In terms of the industry in Asia, I think what I've seen, what we are now implementing, for instance, is AI outbound agents, sales outbound agents that will help us cold call clients. We used to have SDR teams with many more people, so we're now trying a solution. We were looking at a solution in Singapore and Malaysia and also in Dubai, and now we decided to go with somebody in Dubai. It's fast. Like there's so many popping up everywhere that can build these outbound agents by using the technology we have. So this is something that excites me right now in sales, is to try these AI solutions, to see what are the conversion rates versus the humans, to see if that is really better, and if this can really scale. And because we all know that the machine is not going on leave, the machine is not sleeping. Of course, it needs to accommodate to the clients, but still, it can
He's
still
gonna
send
wake up the
emails.
clients. Guys, I'm here.
It's okay in the middle of the night. So I'm excited about trying these new things, as well as I just decided with my sales enablement person to really look into what agents can we currently build in this next quarter to analyze our clients more, to identify triggers faster if their coins utilization drops, so we can reach out and understand what are the reasons to prevent, of course, churn, improve retention and all that. So for us, exciting quarter ahead, because we're looking more into what are the key problems we face the most and how can we create AI agents to help solve these problems.
Proactively instead of after the fact. Interesting. Maybe to go back to FastCo and the particular problem you're solving, before FastCo and FastGig, how were gig workers or frontliners, how were they finding jobs and how were companies finding them? Before you started solving the problem, how were they doing it?
Well, I think you can look at it still in the Southeast Asian countries that are a little bit less developed. So if you look, for instance, into Philippines, even Malaysia, some maybe rural areas, or Indonesia, how this, like they're the mom and pop shops, right? The family has a shop.
Yep.
And who helps out in the shop is usually the
Cousins.
family members,
Yeah.
friends. The friend of a friend knows somebody from the same village. So this is how it all was, right?
Can I share an anecdote? I was at the beach. I was at the beach near Kuala Lumpur, and my son loves massage. He's 4 years old, but when we go to massage, everyone gets one, right? So he gets one, and my daughter is 1.5, but soon I can see she will also get her own massage. So every time we see one, he's getting excited, and we try to do it every time he's asking for it. So we stop, and there were like two persons in the big massage place. And as a consumer, I always get, if it's a bigger restaurant, if it's a bigger place, you're always more attracted to those ones than the smaller ones. So I go in this empty place and there was no one. And I was like, maybe the massage people are behind in the back office. And yeah, no one. And the guy started like calling people in the street. So the guy who was selling coconuts came and started giving you the massage. And so that was the FastGig. What's quite funny, so they were wearing multiple hats in that street. So if there were too many people in the massage, they would just change their jobs and become the massage people, which was hilarious.
This is how it was back in the days. I think then, of course, with social media and WhatsApp and all, you had a little bit of an evolution where then you had Facebook groups where people posted jobs. However, the problem with these kind of groups, you can't really filter. It's just a one-way thing, right? It's one way, long, next post, next post, next post. So it's hard to filter, to get matched, to understand like what are the details. You need to read a lot, and you may have missed the best job in your life because it was popped up here, but then there were 20 others. So this is the Facebook kind of evolution. Then WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups, which we also see in Singapore even, but also one way. And I think platforms has been around for a while now too, but is still used in white collar and in blue collar because it creates that middle ground. You can filter, you can have your preferences, you can have your newsletter, you can get recommendations of jobs that fit your profile. So this is a kind of, now with AI, of course, even more, where we can help generate profiles faster for job seekers. So like Gen Z just doesn't want to type anymore. They just want to voice clip. Okay, this is my name. I've worked at McDonald's and now I want to work at Burger King this time. Please write, right? So then AI generates the profile, matches what you want, and like it's recommending. So this is the next evolution phase we're coming in now, I think. And a lot more on the screening and interviewing part, which will be automated through AI. But yeah, before that, recommendations, like family, friends, referrals, and then the Facebook, WhatsApp kind of groups. Before then, I think platforms became more popular.
What are the biggest barriers for the workers? So for the people who are looking for jobs, what are the frictions for them?
I think from the non-executive space is, as I mentioned to you earlier, they are on the go usually everywhere. They do a job here, they do a job here, then they change jobs. It's very fast, everything in their lives. They change jobs as well a lot because there's one guy that can pay more. And for them, that really makes a difference. So I think the friction for them is sometimes when it comes to profiles, which are relevant also to do proper matching and also recommendations to employers, and giving the employer also some information about you and why they should find you. The non-executive space is not like that. They don't have profiles. We have been having this as an OKR to really improve our profile completion section, which was very successful. But usually they don't have time to set up a profile. They don't even know what to write down. They struggle to know how to create a CV. So they need that help also from us as a platform, which we worked on now. So the friction is they don't know how to do it. They don't have time for it. They just don't have it. And then an employer gets a profile with just a name and a phone number. And you're like, but what's your background? How am I supposed to choose you, right?
That's a cool, just one thing that I'm just thinking, that's a really cool opportunity for personal branding for you as a coach. Of how can you do it for 10,000 people? Because I even the HR are struggling with personal branding. I am struggling with personal branding and I'm a marketer. So it's everyone is struggling. It would be an amazing thing. You could scale that to thousands of people literally. And with AI, it's easy now. You just need to have a seed of identity and then boom, it will make something beautiful. Yeah.
So this is that one. And I think in terms of barrier, what other barriers? Yeah, I think the employers will not know about them. They don't have the profiles or the time or don't know where to start.
So no visibility.
Yeah, no visibility. And sometimes I think it's that what I shared as well already, that they may have found a job already. And then they applied to, like, say 20, 50 jobs or whatever, right? They found a job. And then an employer is reaching out to them, but the employer doesn't know yet that, oh, you found something already. Because then you don't reply to the employer because you found your job already. And for you, it's just, I need a job now. Then you may have also missed that opportunity for the future.
Yeah.
So like that, I think this we haven't solved yet.
That's very interesting as well. It's bad for your brand because you're ghosting someone and then next day you need another job and you did the wrong thing. Makes sense. Yeah. Cool. I mean, plenty of opportunities for products. It's cool. It means you're necessary. And maybe what is the biggest frustrations for employers? So the other side. I mean, you spoke about a few already. The fact there's too much volume, the fact that people are ghosting. What are the other bits? How about pricing? You know that, I mean, I've read on your platform that you guys are trying to give equal opportunities and make sure that everyone makes enough money to pay their bills and thrive, basically. How do you make sure that the prices are adequate for both sides?
I think FastCo always was one of the players in the market that had always quite reasonable pricing for our employers, which is, and compared to our competition, also it's a fact that we charge much less than the job street or other players out there and for a job posting. Because we also know that that's what we offer in terms of pricing. The more kind of coins, we always go by coins. So with coins, you can do multiple things. It's your currency. You can do job postings, but you can do also bumps. So your job ad gets bumped up. You can invite candidates. You can invite job seekers to your job so they can apply if you like a profile. And you can also do talent search and look for specific ones that you maybe want to reach out to. So you can do a lot of things or even post on a partnership angle in a Telegram group too. So you use coins, and we offer a tiered pricing. The more coins you buy, the cheaper it gets for you per coin as well. Because of course you buy in bulk, so it gets cheaper. So if you are a big organization, it makes sense for you to commit to maybe an annual bigger package, which you can then use over the whole year at a lower discount per ad. So you pay much less. And for ad hoc clients, of course, we have small packages as well, where they don't need to commit to a big bulk, but they can just buy what they want and then top up anytime they want. Again, in the platform directly, online in self-serve, or if they want to speak to the account manager, they can do that too, because each account has an account manager from our side as well. So humans behind it, really. So we have always been known to be very reasonably priced in that sense versus our competition and offering this advantage here. And in terms of the problems what employers are facing, I think is mainly still what I shared, the ghosting of job seekers, maybe not even showing up sometimes to the job. Sometimes they even said they will come, but then they found another job and then they don't show up. Or
can you review in FastGig? Can I review the workers that are working with me so that the next time they are looking for a job? Yeah. Okay. So
yes, in FastGig, you have even more information than in FastJobs, because FastGig, you see exactly what experience do they have with the platform. We have a rating, so they get rated by the employers. And also if they have no shows or late cancellations, they will get penalized because you didn't show up and the employer was waiting for you. Like, he booked you in, he was relying on you, you didn't show up. So they can choose based on reviews, rating, and experience. And of course, also, they can review where they're located as well, where have they been working the most, because especially in the blue collar space, it's very important on location. Job seekers are choosing jobs that are close to their homes or close to MRT or close to bus, because this is how they transport across the country. And of course, the faster they are from their own home, they like, okay, I just go over there and do my job. So proximity is very important for them to choose a job. So that's also why from the employer perspective, they can then choose somebody who's maybe more in that area. So the chances that they will show up are higher too.
That's cool. I can see how important it is to find your niche, because what you're talking about are things that other platforms that are not specialized would not even think about. So it forces you to develop the product in a very meaningful way for those particular audiences you have.
And really understand your audience, understand how do job seekers choose and pick jobs. And when you get that, you nail it.
Do you have competition in Malaysia and Singapore?
Yes, we do. In Malaysia specifically, we have quite a big competitor, which is called Markaja, very specific on non-executive blue-collar space too. So they are quite big here in Malaysia as well. They also have a specific niche, which is, I find it very interesting. They offer a specific portal specifically for Mandarin or Chinese. So it's called Rice Bowl. So where all the Mandarin speaking jobs are published and all that. I think in Malaysia is also quite a good niche to have. So they are having this. We don't have that niche at this point. In Singapore, we don't have that. We don't have a portal that is, I would say, as strong as we are. In Singapore, we're a clear market leader and have been around. Everybody, if they think about blue collar or non-executive, will come to us. Whereas in Malaysia, we have that strong competitor still. JobStreet, I'm not sure if it launched
No, I don't know.
a year ago in Singapore, a non-executive portal as well, with which they call JobStreet Express. However, then they
That's fine.
yes, over time it didn't work out, so they closed that one again. And now they just launched a new thing that on JobStreet itself you can niche out non-executive kind of roles. But when we speak to our employers, they would always choose us for non-executive space because we have that niche in terms of job seekers. We are known to be that platform which people know about and would come there. Whereas JobStreet is everything, can be white collar, blue collar, anything.
You said 10 years, right, for FastCo,
Yes.
FastGig. Why just 2 countries so far, and why not expansion? How difficult is it as a business model? Because at the end of the day, I remember talking about recruitment, about younger, junior people, and the HR, like an HR expert was telling me, there's not much money to be made on those guys because I can get so many of them, so I don't really care. I won't say who told me that, but so basically it's a commodity, so people won't pay for those. Of course, there are exceptions, right? But how do you do to build a business model on lower cost jobs, because it means that you can't price that high for your business? How do you manage to extract enough value to grow FastCo and FastGig? And what's your growth plans for the regions and the world? Because I have not seen this. Maybe I was not connected to the gig or working economy, but I've not seen this kind of platform and the way you've been building it with so much intention and activism, social activism. I would love to see it grow, and I think it's exciting.
Good question. So why not other markets like expanding? We used to have Philippines as well, actually. So Fast Jobs was the first brand that really, the platform, the job ad platform, which was launched in Singapore first. Then they expanded to Malaysia and to the Philippines too. However, in the Philippines, I think even if you look at our competitors, most platforms have been struggling there in terms of monetization, because a lot is very low margin and also a lot is free out there. So I think after a few years, Fast Jobs decided to just keep it there, but focus really more on Malaysia and Singapore. So this was, I think, a learning that the company had over time to choose your efforts, I think, and also resources to really focus on the markets that work. So I think that was just the strategic direction to focus really on less markets then and really scale them first. Malaysia came a bit later as well. Then Singapore was the first market overall. And now it was more, I think in the past years, we launched the platform FastGig. FastGig is fairly new compared to Fast Jobs, the gig SaaS platform. So I would say instead of expanding into new markets, the vision and the strategy was really to grow or complement Fast Jobs with FastGig and to offer a workforce on demand when there's surcharge, peak periods, when you're lacking that manpower on the ground right now, and to help our segment, like to expand the blue collar segment there and to grow this angle, because we have the powerhouse of Fast Jobs database already. We have all these job seekers. So we leverage our Fast Jobs job seekers for FastGig and kind of naturally bring over these people to FastGig if they have a weekend job, right? Or they're in between jobs, or they're a student, they want to just do some ad hoc stuff. This is a natural. And we saw this as a competitive edge versus our competition, because we are not just a platform, job platform. We are we call it like the FastCo hub, or the powerhouse that we want to build, which is bringing both brands together so that we can service our clients in any need they have, either full-timers and part-timers, which is Fast Jobs, like they want to make offers and hire them there, or the ad hoc workforce on demand, and to complement it with each other, because you're always in the non-executive space. You have people not showing up, you have people that leave all of a sudden and have another job, and you are constantly hiring and onboarding and again hiring, and so much turnover. So that's why the strategic direction was really to bring this together instead of just expanding to more markets, because we also know if you look at classified ads in the world, classified ads have been declining in the sense of it's not that big as it was anymore across even the US. Like the big brands were sold, Monster and all these were sold. So we needed to find another competitive edge to differentiate ourselves, and to now as a vision bring both brands together in one powerhouse, and to focus on that instead of doing the things right where we are first before we then invest in other things and move.
FastGig is very exciting. How long has been FastGig on the market?
A couple of years, would say, I think maybe 5 years, around there.
It's very exciting because I think the profile that you talked about, where I can bring it back, I can take it with me and I have all my ratings, I think it's very exciting, even for white collar, by the way. I think it would be amazing if I could get my performance appraisals and then be able to show them to the market.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, I think we all would benefit, because we kept hostage, right? With the NDAs that we signed, all the contract that needs to stay in-house. And the more we can give the data, or give verified data about our work, the easier we can price ourselves to the market after and prove the value that we have. So I think doing it for blue collar workers is amazing. And you could almost have like long-term jobs on this. And then you have like your daily performance. I mean, in a way, you could see it as policing. If you're not living your passion and you're just not wanting to go and you just want to do your 9 to 5 without caring about your job, you probably don't want this kind of platform. But if you really care and you're like giving your whole, getting even like, when people tip you, you could have those it's instant feedback, right? People give you 10%, 15%, they say you're happy. Having all this in blue collar worker would be beautiful. So yeah, I'm very exciting. And I can understand that if you're building a new product, because it's completely different product, you need to scale down on geography to be able to expand on the product. So thank you for educating me.
We have also commitments to the investors and also where the money is going. And of course, growth is always something that we all need to drive. But I think the landscape also changed a lot in the world, where we see money is not so accessible anymore. VCs are much more looking at profitability. So it's not like it used to be in the big bubble of VCs where you just had millions, $100 million to just spend, expand, rocket internet style, right? Boom, 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 boom. It's not like that anymore. So things have changed. And that's why for us, profitability is the key, and to maintain and grow the profits further. And FastGig, coming back to a question, has been around for 4 to 5 years. However, we only launched last year our SaaS, our self-serve platform. So we have 2 services. One is fully managed. So if you don't want to bother with it, just let us know. When do you need people? We will make it happen. And the other part is really for small and medium businesses to self-serve themselves, to choose themselves, what I mentioned, to control who they want to hire at a much lower cost as well. So this was something that we launched last year in July.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I think it's very exciting. And I think the interesting thing is that you're doing plenty for that part of the economy. The difficult thing is now you have 2 offerings, and there are actually 3 based on what you described. So it's harder to communicate as a CRO, as a chief revenue officer, or as a marketer. But I'm very excited. I wish you to get more funding to be able to deploy more good ideas and innovation in that part of the economy is very exciting. And I think you spoke about underrated. I think it's underrated also from an experience standpoint, because if you don't pay people well, if you don't take care of them, if you don't find the right people, your brand doesn't exist in F&B, in hospitality, because it's so much about the personal contact. And so for McDonald's, it might not matter. Actually, I think it does, but it matters less. But for every concept that we love, that personal touch is so important. And you need platform like yours to be able to make sure that there's an excellence built instead of just like trying to lower cost and commoditize everyone. So hopefully you get more funding. We spoke about location. So I was going to ask you, what motivates frontline workers to apply for a job today? You spoke about a few things. Is there anything you want to add?
Yes. So proximity, I said, right? Location, close to the home, close to MRT, close to bus. So they're accessible and they can commute easily. And of course, I don't want to, if you take the bus across Singapore, it still can take an hour if you're from one angle to the other. So it should be closer where they live usually. So this is important for them. On the other side, they are also looking out for, of course, pay is important. Like how much are they paying per hour? What can I make from it? Because it's a tough job and they need to feed their families as well. So salary, pay, they look out for a lot, and benefits. So if you look at the Fast Jobs ads as well, specifically, or even in FastGig, a lot what really stands out is if employers are putting benefits in there. Like, for instance, one of our biggest clients is offering some meals when it comes to the break or paid break. So is there, I have a paid break, I get money for just being there, which is great, which is for them, okay, I decide on that job. Or, hey, I get a meal sponsored by my employer. So I don't have to go find food or pay for food, but it's included. Or transport costs sometimes, if it's like an evening shift, where it's late already and the public transport is already like at the edge and you may have to do overtime, that the employer is offering taxi fees to be reimbursed or something like this. So really, they're looking for these little things to make a decision. And that's why I tell employers always put it out there in your JD, make it visible, because they will not read through the whole thing. They need to see it from the start. What do you offer to them to choose you over others? Because there are many jobs and it's hard to find good people.
How do you invest in employer branding for a blue collar worker? Because I think, as far as I know, there's a lot done for white collar, especially in tech. What do blue collar companies, or I don't know what to say, frontliners companies, that those who depend more on frontliners, do to do employer branding in a different way? What is different and what is the same?
I think what we do on specifically in the fast job side is, of course, they can book banners or like banners on the website throughout, featured kind of banners that come in the jobs feed when they like scroll through to be mentioned there. We had one really cool initiative a couple years back where we ran a video production with specific employers with influencers. So one example is there was one with McDonald's, for instance, where an influencer came to the McDonald's office and was like showing how's the office or what's the job behind, like how to do things. So this was one initiative. We did like video productions with influencers for our employers with them together. And this is shown on the employer page. So we have as a employer branding angle that we also offer. And if you go to the website, they're like featured employers, top employers there. They all have bought are working with us on the employer page. So job seekers can even go to the employer and check what benefits, who are they, what do they offer, a bit more about the company, their values and all that. So we see that with a lot of big companies, they would have that and they would still invest in this employer branding there. But of course, it's much less than, let's say, white collar or anything. But there are some initiatives, banners, feed banners, videos, employer page that they could do. And of course, another one, very big one for us, twice per year, we're holding a big jobs fest. We're organizing a big fest, which is really where we provide walk-in interviews. So people, imagine you're in a mall and rent out a space in the mall. On the weekend or something, you go shopping and you see this jobs fest with employers on the ground where you can just sign up and wait until it's your time to interview on the spot. So you don't have to book interviews in advance or do like interview rounds. You have a chance to show up and actually really find a job on the spot.
That's cool.
So this is an initiative we do. And of course, this is also a lot of branding for the employers there. We work there with the government. We work with E2I, with training providers here a lot together to facilitate these jobs fast twice per year and to really offer these equal job opportunities again to our job seekers out there.
Okay, I will accelerate this way. I don't take too long more. Any data points that you think would surprise us for the people who don't know as much about the frontliner work market? Any data points you want to share?
I think something what I shared earlier already is speed matters. And employers should know that the speed they reply and the speed they react to the applications matters, because the job seeker might have already found something and is ghosting you or is not relevant anymore for you in that sense. So being aware that speed matters, and I think this is where AI will come in to help and support recruiters with this volume and this workload that it can be overwhelming. And I totally understand it. It's a lot, like to call people on the time and screen and all this. So with solutions, I think we're also building some solutions right now. This will make their life easier so they can be faster as well. But employers out there, please be mindful. Speed matters. Reply to your applicants and take them serious and see it as they also made an effort to apply to you. They're interested. So matching them together.
You have executive presence. And by the way, if people want to find you, LinkedIn, what is the place you post the most, or where is the best place to find you?
LinkedIn is my channel. Yes.
Okay, so we'll put your LinkedIn. On executive presence specifically, so you do coach leaders on that. If you look at a CHRO trying to coach a technical CEO or a shy HR leader or a shy people manager on being better in a room or in a meeting, having more charisma, I don't know how you call it, what is the first mental upgrade you would recommend?
There's so many parts to it, right? I think it first starts with reading, being able to read the room, being able to understand how are people feeling at this point. Are they frustrated, annoyed? Are they excited? Are they to understand how they react to what you are actually presenting and what are their thoughts or what could be the concerns. So I think reading the room, but also being prepared beforehand of what could be different reactions. So knowing the stakeholders, so let me come back, I circle back, knowing the stakeholders you have in the room, knowing their personalities, if you know them, of course, if it's new people, they're not, but let's assume in the executive, in the leadership team, what could be specific concerns each of them could have about whatever you want to share or bring up or push or direct. And in your storytelling, like in your prep work, bringing in these concerns and having examples, case studies or a business case or whatever to really tackle these potential concerns. You never know all of them, but you have done your homework and you thought about it. So you build a story that is well thought through with data, with the objectives, with problem, objective, solution, recommendation, potential risks and mitigations and all that. And you have a proper story where you can get all of them on board and anticipate what they would have said. And of course, then read the room on how they react. And then based on the reaction, body language, understanding the body language of the person, understanding the tone of voice, really monitoring how their reactions are so you can then tackle that and address this. I think this would be the first. But there's so much more to it. But probably doing your prep work, storytelling, and then reading the room and then seeing how can you action on that.
I love it. So basically, listen more than you talk. This basically you're thinking of think before you do it. So you're not okay, just go and talk loud.
And of course, ask questions. Ask questions after. It's all about that. To ask, hey, what concerns do you have? Is there anything that makes you feel uncomfortable about that? And what would we need to do as a unit, as a whole, to mitigate that? What is missing? Back to what information is missing. And often it's something is missing which you haven't thought about, but then in the end it can be solved if that information can be provided.
I love it. And one last one on frontline workers and the beautiful job FastCo and FastGigs are doing, you guys are doing. With all the experience you have, think about young HRs or people who are maybe more experienced HRs, but they just moved to the frontliner economy. So they are in F&B for the first time, or they're in hospitality for the first time, retail. What would you give them as advice, or what would you tell them to look out for so that they're more prepared? I think the podcast is a great way to get prepared to the conversation. But what else? Yeah. maybe it's a better way to frame the question. And as you're thinking about it, so it's also to give you space. What do you think they would wish to know earlier? You spoke about speed and other things. So maybe if one more thing, or if you want to reiterate something you said already.
I would like to add on, I think it's especially in that space, if you're new to that, get on the ground. Do a shift yourself. Go and work as a service crew yourself. Understand how hard it is. Understand what people are you working with. Who are these people? Because then you can start speaking the language. So don't just think, okay, this is the way we have to do it, but really get to know the people. Go for lunch with them. Take them for coffee. Take them out. Understand what would motivate them to work for you and what's hard about the job, what not. So you are able to find the right people that are a fit for that and you don't mishire as well. But you need to go on the ground. Otherwise, learn by doing, basically.
Yeah. Your team, your coaches, your clients, and the talents of your clients are lucky to have you. Thank you for expressing curiosity and responsibility, all the things you said. I'm grateful we met. I'll let you run to your next meeting and I'll let you know when it's published. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for the time and for the great questions. I really enjoyed
Pleasure,
it.
Vanessa. Same thing. Have a beautiful day.
Have a good one.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.